Welcome to Movie Galaxy. The movie begins with Eric Draven as a child. His beloved horse is stuck in barbed wire and is in great pain. Eric tries desperately to free the horse, but his mother is too drunk and asleep to help him. Eric tries to pull out the wire, hurting his hands and leaving scars on his palms. This awful memory haunts Eric in his dreams every night of his life. Years later, a young woman named Shell lives in Detroit. One day, she gets a video message from her friend Zadie. The video, filmed by a mutual friend, shows a frightening event. Zadie suggests they use the video to take down a powerful crime boss named Vincent Rogue to get justice for his many crimes. But for now, Zadie thinks they should leave the city. Shell asks Zadie to stay home and wait for her, but Zadie feels like she's being followed. She's right. When she enters her apartment, it's clear someone is already there, waiting. Vincent's right-hand person, Marion, comes out of the room and quickly grabs Zadie's phone to check what she sent and to whom. Marion's assistant injects Zadie with a substance, and she is taken away. Shelley realizes something has happened to Zadie, so she calls Zadie's boyfriend and warns him that Zadie has done something reckless. Shelley goes outside but feels like she's being watched. While trying to escape her pursuers, she accidentally bumps into some police officers. Her purse falls, and its contents scatter, revealing a packet of illegal substances. Shelley is arrested and later sent to a rehabilitation center. Meanwhile, Eric, now grown up, is also in the same center, receiving treatment for his past trauma. The program is hard for him, but so far, he's been able to follow the psychologist's advice. One day, he notices a new girl at the center and feels an instant connection to her. However, relationships between men and women are strictly forbidden in the rehab center. Vincent Rogue, known for supporting musical talent, meets a young pianist and starts a conversation with her. Their talk is cut short when Marion arrives and informs Vincent that Zadie has been found. Rogue heads to a back room where the frightened Zadie is being held. He demands to know where Shelley is, but Zadie insists she doesn't know. Vincent reflects on how many people like her he has killed over the centuries. Though he says he would gladly keep killing such scum, he notes that they are already destined for hell. His master, however, desires souls like Zadie's as part of their dark agreement. Vincent sends souls to hell to avoid going there himself. Zadie begs for her life, but Vincent leans in and whispers something in her ear. Her eyes go blank, and she takes a dagger, ending her own life. Vincent looks up to the sky, as if watching her soul leave. During their morning exercises, Shelley notices Eric. At breakfast, despite the rules, she sits at his table and starts a conversation. They quickly connect, and soon they're exchanging glances and talking whenever they can. During group activities, they always try to stay close to each other. Meanwhile, Marion tracks down Shelley through her mother, Sophia. Vincent's people plan to take Shelley from the rehab center. On the day they arrive, Shelley stops by Eric's room and notices his drawings. Some of them are of her, which she finds flattering. She also reads some text Eric has written and realizes they could easily become songs. Since she plays a few instruments, Eric suggests they team up to create music together, and Shelley agrees. Just then, an announcement comes over the center speaker, saying Shelley has visitors. Eric looks out and, seeing Marion, reassures Shelley, thinking she's just a lawyer. But when Shelley sees Marion, she panics and asks Eric to help her hide, though she isn't sure how. Eric leads her to the laundry room and shows her a window that leads outside. But before escaping, they need to remove her tracking bracelet. Eric helps Shelley get rid of it and then removes his own tracker as well. When Shelley asks why, Eric smiles and says he's tired of the center and plans to leave with her. The couple successfully escapes, climbing over a fence and fleeing into the woods. They soon reach a forest road, where they stop a truck that agrees to take them to the city. Shelley leads Eric to her friend's empty apartment, as he's out of town. There, they grow closer, finding comfort in each other. They spend quality time together, talk about their pasts, and make plans for the future. At night, while sitting on the roof, they talk about love and realize they found something special in each other. Meanwhile, the police discover Zadie's body and report it to Vincent, who is enjoying a piano performance. Furious, he orders Marion to find Shelley and end things once and for all, as any leak of the video could ruin his reputation. Shelley and Eric continue to enjoy their love, taking nature trips, relaxing with other young couples, walking a lot, and dreaming of growing old together. They also begin writing songs together, drawing on their shared creativity. One day, as Shelley sits down at an instrument, a painful memory surfaces. She confesses to Eric that she used to love playing music, but her mother forced her to perform in inappropriate places for a child. Shelley witnessed terrible things that no child should see, and she carries deep guilt, feeling responsible for the suffering of others. She doesn't tell Eric exactly what happened, fearing he might leave her, but Eric reassures her, saying he can't live without her. One night, Eric and Shelley go to a club where Shelley encounters Zadie's friend, who tells her about Zadie's murder and warns her to flee the city. Shelley quickly pulls Eric away, promising to explain everything once they're home. However, when they enter the apartment, Vincent's men ambush them. In the struggle, both Eric and Shelley are killed, and their souls sink into a realm between life and death. The lovers are separated. Shelley falls into a dark abyss, while Eric finds himself in limbo, a place where souls await judgment. There, he meets a mysterious spirit named Kronos. Kronos explains that, according to ancient beliefs, the crow guides souls to their next path, either to rest or to continue fighting against injustice. The crow will show Eric his destiny, but Eric struggles to believe what's happening and tries to leave. Kronos advises him to wake up, then pushes him. Eric falls and awakens suddenly in his apartment, disoriented. He searches for Shelley, but she's nowhere to be found. As he tries to understand what's going on, he hears the voice of Marion's henchman returning to the apartment to retrieve Shelley's phone, as their assassination had been interrupted the night before. The man posing as a policeman spots Eric and orders him to step outside. Eric, confused and lost in his sense of reality, complains that he doesn't understand what's happening to him. Without warning, the man shoots Eric, causing him to fall. However, Eric immediately gets back up, shocking the attacker. They engage in a brutal fight, and though Eric is stabbed in the stomach, he pulls the knife out and keeps fighting. Eventually, he kills the man with his own weapon. Eric watches in disbelief as his wounds heal before his eyes. Stunned, he walks out into the street, recalling Kronos' words about the crow and how immense grief can prevent a soul from finding its path. Suddenly, he spots Shelley standing on a bridge, about to jump into the water. Eric shouts for her to stop, but she leaps. Without hesitation, he follows her, once again encountering Kronos. This time, Eric fully understands. They're both dead. Kronos explains that Shelley is falling into a place far worse than limbo. The ones who killed them made a deal with the devil, trading innocent souls for eternal life. To save Shelley and himself, Eric must seek vengeance for their deaths so their souls can finally find peace. His body can no longer be killed, but the pain will never go away. It will endure as long as his love for Shelley remains pure. With this new purpose, Kronos pushes Eric, and he is thrust back into the real world. The first thing Eric does is visit an old friend, who provides him with a gun. Armed, he goes to see Shelley's mother, Sophia. She tries to brush off everything, blaming Shelley's struggles on substance abuse. But Eric knows the truth. Sophia is terrified, unwilling to talk, so Eric goes into Shelley's room, where he finds photos and Zadie's theater pass. Eric heads to the theater, and at the entrance, he spots his killer, who doesn't seem surprised by Eric's sudden reappearance. Eric demands to know who his master is, but the man reaches for his gun. Before Eric can react, a stray bullet kills the man. Searching his body, Eric finds the name Marion on his phone. Just then, Eric sees Marion getting into a car with her assistant. Without hesitation, Eric steps into the road, ready to confront them. Sensing danger, Marion's assistant orders her to duck. Eric shoots, hitting the car, then leaps inside, determined to kill everyone. But Marion's assistant fights him off, eventually throwing Eric out of the car and into the path of a massive truck. However, Eric's unkillable body soon recovers, and he comes to his senses. That night, Vincent visits Sophia. He wants to know why Eric came to see her. Shaken, the woman admits that Eric is desperate to do anything to bring Shelley back. It's then revealed that Sophia made a deal, trading her daughter's soul for wealth, something she now deeply regrets. Vincent, cold and ruthless, sends Sophia's soul to hell. Vincent gets into his car, where the young pianist from before is waiting for him. He calls Marion, informing her that Eric has returned from the dead, and orders her to capture him. Eric, determined to find answers, tracks down Zadie's friend and accuses him of betraying them. The terrified boy confesses that Marion is only a small player. The real mastermind is Vincent Roque. He reveals that Vincent has a devilish power. He can manipulate people's minds with his voice, making them do terrible things. The boy also admits that he filmed the video that led to the deaths of Zadie and Shelley. Although furious, Eric lets the boy go and heads to the apartment where he and Shelley had hidden after their escape. At the apartment, Eric recalls the happy moments he shared with Shelley. He then finds her secret hiding spot and discovers her phone. When he plays the video, His worst fears are realized. Under Vincent's control, Shelley had brutally killed her friend. Overwhelmed with grief, Eric seeks out a mutual friend and confesses that he's drowning in dark thoughts and beginning to doubt his love for Shelley. Just as he's opening up, two of Vincent's thugs burst into the room. They take Eric away and kill his friend. In a rage, Eric breaks free and fights back, but he is shot and dies once again, returning to the afterlife. Facing Kronos again, Eric is told that he has lost his ability to heal because he didn't complete his mission and, worse, doubted his love for Shelley. As a result, her soul is now doomed to eternal darkness, while Eric's soul is destined for an eternity of emptiness. Kronos advises Eric to let Shelley go, but Eric refuses. He pleads with Kronos, asking him to take his soul in exchange for saving Shelley. Kronos warns him that they will never be together again, but Eric remains resolute, willing to endure eternal torment for Shelley's sake. A flock of crows suddenly flies overhead. Kronos cuts his hand and merges his blood with Eric's, sealing their pact. Eric is racked with intense pain as black blood clouds his vision, and he gains the ability to fly between worlds like a crow. Now armed with this new power, Eric gets one last chance to bring justice and take down Vincent Rogue. Eric rises from the dead once more, fueled by vengeance, and kills his murderers with their own weapons. Searching one of their phones, he finds an SMS revealing that Marion will be waiting at the theater. Donning terrifying makeup and arming himself, Eric heads to the theater. At the same time, Marion reports to Vincent Rogue, informing him that Eric is dead, which disappoints him. As the show begins, Marion and her people turn their attention to the performance. Eric, however, sneaks into the theater and begins eliminating Vincent's guards one by one. No matter what they try, knives, bullets, or brute force, Eric coldly clears his path, his wounds healing instantly. Panicked, Marion reports this to Vincent, who thanks her for her service, seemingly unfazed. Eric reaches Marion's balcony, where he demands to know Vincent's location. Reluctantly, she gives him the address before Eric mercilessly beheads her and her guard. He takes their severed heads and throws them onto the stage, horrifying the audience, who scatter in terror. Eric briefly pauses, recalling Shelley's wish for a bouquet of lilies. He grabs the flowers and leaves them on the bridge as a tribute to her memory, then heads to Vincent's estate. Walking unimpeded into Vincent's room, Eric confronts him. Rogue, unimpressed, reveals that despite everything, he is still made of flesh and blood, just like Eric. He mocks Eric's hope of bringing Shelley back and tries to convince him that Shelley is guilty, but Eric refuses to believe it. Rogue plunges a dagger into Eric's chest, taunting him, claiming that only hatred remains in his heart and that he has no love left. He attempts to steal Eric's powers, but Eric, focusing on his love for Shelley and the bright moments they shared, manages to transport Vincent to the afterlife. There, Eric easily overpowers and kills him, sending Vincent's soul to hell and saving Shelley's. In the afterlife, Shelley rises from the abyss and embraces Eric. He reassures her, explaining that he can't return to the world of the living with her. Heartbroken, Shelley refuses to go back without him, but there is no changing fate. She awakens on the night of their death and sees Kronos, now in the form of a medic, who tells her that Eric sacrificed his life to save hers. As Shelley weeps, Eric is left with the memory of their bright moments together, believing that, one day, their souls will find each other again in another life. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe so as to watch our latest uploads.